Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 65 and today I'm starting things off in no man's land, the area between Team G and Team Star. And I have to say, both of these bases look absolutely magnificent. I mean, I know I've heard some jokes about both of them. One of them looks like a Brita water filter. This one looks like a turtle, or at least that area over there. But I mean, they are absolutely stunning. It almost seems a shame that these are going to be engaged in warfare and are likely to get destroyed at some point. However, of course, that is not going to be happening at this point because, of course, it's not a stalemate. The flag is up. What do you call it when teams don't want to fight each other? The ceasefire. It's called a ceasefire. The ceasefire is in place and no one is fighting anyone. But, I mean, aside from the Civil War stuff, I've just flown over to my base and I'd completely forgotten how cool this looks. So we've replaced all the torches and we have light around here and it looks spectacular. It looks so cool. You see, the reason that I'd forgotten that we'd done that is because I've actually been away from the Hermitcraft server for 5 days. I've been away from all of YouTube for 5 days, in fact. For the first time in my almost 7 years of running this YouTube channel, I decided to take a week off in England and just chill out and relax. And it's been great. I've actually come back with just so much energy to make videos. I'm so excited to start working on them. We've got some wicked plans for both this channel and also the filming channel, so keep your eyes peeled for those. But to start things off today, we need to talk about the hashtag Mumbo TN Tree Building Challenge, because you guys have been going crazy with the suggestions and lots of them are really beautiful. I mean, check this out. I don't know why I'm always surprised by the number of submissions I get, but I am always surprised by the number of submissions that I get. So let's just quickly look through some of the ones that I really like. This one's cool. I like the roof of this one. I always appreciate a spoon in the build, especially considering how many spoon moments we had constructing this. This is very cool and displayed beautifully. This one's pretty wild. I really like the idea of this one. Whoa, that looks like it's come from an alien planet. The tree on top is a very cool idea. I like literally all of these shapes. Definitely going to take inspiration from that. And this is just graphically pretty. I just really like the idea of this. So, with all that inspiration stuffed into my brain, I kind of have a good idea of how I want to construct this thing, so hopefully I can put something together that is really beautiful. Otherwise, I'll cry myself to sleep tonight. This is my first idea, and it's pretty out there in terms of the design, and I genuinely think it is, I think it's really cool. The only problem that I have with it is that it's not actually that, I mean, it's super futuristic, but also not that futuristic in that it still looks quite mystical. So I don't know if we can quite go for something like that, but I do like the idea of kind of like the pattern-based builds. This idea is a lot cooler though, and I think that could end up looking like a really awesome structure. I'm gonna have to experiment with it a little bit further, but the idea is that you have kind of areas of different sized rings, so there's no order to it or anything like that, but you have these glass areas that kind of seem to melt over the top, and it will work in this sort of fashion. I like this plan. Yes, this is sweet. So to the Dude MC, you have provided the inspiration for this build, and it's so cool. It looks like a piece of modern art. It literally looks like a piece of modern art. It's like a sculpture that you would see in a modern art museum. I think this is super sweet. The only thing is that do we have this curl over like that? Or do we do it the other way? I prefer the melting over. I think the melting over looks way better. Okay, awesome. I appear to have lost my trousers. I think they used to have Curse of Vanishing on them, so when I died from the TNT, I think it might have blown my trousers off. Come on, let's have a look. Ah! No! Oh, I had such high hopes then. Okay, it looks like we're gonna have to AFK for our bones. I thought this would take me through into Exuma's bone farm, but it hasn't. It's taken me to, I think this is where Exuma originally was going to be. After some nether portal searching, I eventually got there. So this is the system, and I assume that after a little while, these guys will start stacking up so much that they die of their own accord, and their items will end up in this hopper down here. 14 hours of totally failed AFKing later, this is actually better than I expected. You see, I turned off my computer just before I left the studio last night, which means that I didn't actually AFK overnight, but thankfully I was editing some videos for a while, and we have managed to get ourselves a decent amount of bone meal. So next thing on the list is, of course, to gather up all of the gravel so that we can make all of our hardened concrete. The only thing is that this is all that's left of the gravel area. I mean, there's very little. I don't know if there's more of these, or if this is like the only one within a many thousand block radius. I don't know how common they are. The next thing that we've got to do is we've actually got to gather up some stone. Like, we've totally run out of stone on the Hermitcraft server, which is, yeah, not something that I thought I'd be saying anytime soon. This was actually a problem on Hermitcraft Season 5, now that I think about it, which is why we built the ridiculous cobblestone generator. Might be worth doing that again. But for now, I've just created a little area underneath my base, in between the two areas, the gunpowder area and my actual main area, where I can gather up all of the stone. And I have to say, it seems to be attracting a little bit of attention. Right, after many hours of resource gathering, we are finally starting work on this build. So, I've gone around the edges, and I've placed in all of the blocks that are going to make up our kind of, I don't even know what to describe these things, the shapes that we're going to be constructing here. The only thing that has me a little bit concerned is the proximity to the TNT. Do we do a test? Do we do a test? Yes, I feel like we should do a test before I build this entire thing and then it blows itself up again. Yeah, I'm very much not filled with hope here, because the TNT lands here. That seems like it's well within the blast range. Well within the blast range. Okay, so there has to be an item inside the dispenser. Yeah, this needs to be bigger. This needs to be so much bigger. I mean, that has destroyed most of everything. Okay, this is substantially wider. It's edging quite close to this design here, but I'd say we're still okay. I mean, everything's meant to be tight knit in this city anyway. But now we're going to do the new. Did you hear that? Am I going crazy? Yeah, that was definitely a weird noise. I'm still not 100% certain what it was. Anyway, let's do the new test. Okay, so we've got TNT. Good stuff. So it looks like we managed to get away with that one without any form of blocks being destroyed. Brilliant. Okay, this is excellent news. I don't like this build anymore. This build has been literally the most painful build I think I've had to work on in all of Hermitcraft. So, yeah, check this out. This structure is 100% going to crash into my base. So, we need to redesign it again. I'm not laughing because I'm happy, I'm laughing because I'm going insane. Well, I've definitely... Oh, I'm reaching the limit. I'm now being killed off by drowned, believe it or not. And I hate those things. You guys know. I hate them. I think they're so pointless, and I don't want them in the game, and I dislike them immensely. Okay, I might have slightly overreacted there, but still. Thankfully, I managed to get my stuff back, and now I am back working on this thing once more. And I think I've come up with an idea on how we can fix all of this up. So what we've got is kind of like a staggered system. So we'll have one section down here in each one of the corners, and then we'll kind of have like a cross section up at the top, which actually could end up looking quite cool. Almost similar to what we have going on over here. So how does this look? I mean, it looks quite obviously, oh my word, okay, everything is spawning on it now. But it looks quite obviously like we are trying to dodge this thing, but it still looks quite cool. So I would say that is good enough to continue building, and also, I just want to get this thing done, okay? This has been a nightmare now. Adding this in has given me a big burst of positivity, because not only does it light it up, it actually makes the build bright enough to see, and it stops all of the mobs from spawning, but most importantly, it actually looks quite cool. The connecting up end rods, I actually think is a really nice addition to the build. So we are about halfway done on this thing, and it is so ridiculously futuristic. Like, it's insane how futuristic this build actually looks. I thought these were kind of futuristic looking builds, but no, that actually looks like something from an alien race, which I know is something that I've said before, but now that it's actually in place, it looks completely wild. I was not expecting it to look this way, and I have to say, I actually really like it. I think it's very dramatic. It's a super dramatic looking build. So I'm excited to see what it looks like once it's all fully completed. As I say, we're about halfway done now, so we're kind of on the home straight. I'm getting into the rhythm of things. Here we are again, outside the home tree, just doing my thing. This should be the theme tune for Hermitcraft Season 6 for me, just this noise. Ladies and gentlemen, after many hours of placing in these blocks, we are now all done with the outlines. So this needs to go up to, I think, so that, where does this come out to? Okay, so that comes down into this area, so that's that. And then I guess these ones also have to go up, and everything should meet up in the middle. So that goes there, and then this wraps round like this. Done. Done, 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 and done. Whew. Now, just to remind you, at this point in time, there's no contrast in the build because we don't have any of the cyan terracotta, so it looks a bit crazy. I still think it looks wild. Like, I think it's a crazy, crazy looking structure. But yeah, once we start getting all of the cyan terracotta throughout this thing, so that we actually get a little bit of darkness in there to kind of mix and match, or mix up the bright, then it will start to look cool. And I'm actually thinking maybe we should take a leaf out of this book and use grey glass here. Because yeah, this is a very white build, or at least when you look at it from certain angles, it suddenly becomes pretty much totally white. So of course that means that we need to do some squid hunting, which currently isn't that successful. Wait, where? Okay, there's literally 3 fish. Normally this place is teeming with life. What has happened? Is this light grey dye? I think this is light grey. Okay, that helps us out somewhat, because then we don't actually need that much squid. So there we go. Yeah, 51. That should hopefully do us, I hope. Okay, now be honest. Which one of these has got glass in it? You really can't see the grey glass at all. So we've got it in all of these bottom sections here, and you can't see it. You can only just see it when we move around. So I think we might actually have to go for white glass. I swapped it out for white glass, and that also didn't work. I don't know what's going on with this build, but it doesn't seem to show up glass very well. So I've now swapped it out for white panes of glass, and that seems to be much better. So this is what we're going to be doing for it. I have no clue what we're going to do for the roof, though. Yes, that is much, much better. Okay, that is awesome. So, after about another hour of placing in all of the glass, these should be the final blocks. I hope. I really do hope. I'm looking through, and yet that is all looking correct. Now, I haven't actually looked at this thing once in the entire time that I've been doing all the glass, but it looks way better now. Thank goodness for that. I was kind of scared when I originally looked at it that it wouldn't look cool. But no, that looks like a crazy build. Our city is like, it's a really cool kind of eclectic mix of builds. All of different styles, all of different shapes. And this one is definitely the most out there. It's one of those builds actually I think looks cooler when you're on this sort of level with it. I think when you're flying around, it loses some of the effect. Whereas when you're standing here, you actually get a real impression of how much is going on here. But still, I am so chuffed with this thing. You may also be able to notice that I'm also absolutely knackered. It's been a long day of Minecrafting today. I have just come up with a little tweak that I think I want to do to it at some point, but I think I'll do that another day because, yeah, I've had enough of this thing for now. Now I'm curious, has Grian sent me any super secret locations via our messaging? No, he hasn't. Well, it's a good thing that Discord exists because he has sent me a Discord message saying that my new orders are under the lowest magma block where the rocket shop used to be. I must admit, yeah, Discord seems way simpler than code naming things and sending them back and forth. I think, yeah, I'm going to use that from now on. Right, so let's see what this says then. Oh wow, this is very smart. I was kind of partially expecting that to kill me then. Can you normally place item frames on the floor, or is this like a custom thing for Hermitcraft? I never know. Anyway, information received. Usefulness is questionable. What? Green didn't like my mole report. Your new instructions are as so. Create a weapon, door, or other redstone contraption for Team Star. Rig it after the ceasefire has ended. You must ensure the blame is put on someone else. Also, please report on the quality of the opposition's facial hair. Destroy this message once acquired. Okay, so I'm destroying the message, but as you just saw there, I have got screenshots. Do I need to destroy the screenshots as well? Do I need to destroy the video footage of me reading it? Oh my word, this is... I don't know how secure of a mole do I have to be? Do I have to be a really secure mole or just like a semi-secure mole? Whatever sort of mole I need to be, I think I should probably head over to the Team Star headquarters and just kind of scope it out again and see where a redstone contraption will fit in, because, you know, I want this to look like an actual addition to Team Star so that they don't suspect anything. Yes, you can hear a lot of confusion in my voice. I still don't really know what I'm doing. So I've inspected this place for a little while and I've worked out a potential spot, but I don't want to build anything in today's episode just yet because I want to chat to the other hermits and the other members of Team Star just to get their go ahead. And also, I don't want to show off the base in this episode just yet because I don't want to spoil any of the new things that have been constructed. It is looking really cool though. I mean, I'm very impressed by this build. And I should mention that you're going to be seeing a lot more of the Team Star headquarters soon because, as you guys know, I mean, Mr. Doc M77 has requested on behalf of Team Star that a commercial gets made, and obviously commercials, you know, that's kind of my thing on the Hermitcraft server, so that's something that I've been working on over the past couple days, and it should be releasing at some point soon, which, yeah, is going to be interesting. I don't actually know how Team G are going to feel about that. I mean, are they going to be upset that I've made... I mean, I'm a mole for them. Surely they'll understand that that's just me fulfilling my duties as Team Star. Surely they won't... I don't know. As you can tell, still very confused. Anyway, I think it would be unfair of me to do a bunch of work on this thing in today's episode and not actually use it. So I've just taken a lot of the bone meal that we got from that bone AFK session that we did earlier on. I've taken a lot of that, I've filled up all of the droppers, the hoppers and the chests, and I'm just going to go to town on this thing for a little while and see how well it's functioning. I thought this would work well in the form of a third-person time-lapse, and while we do that, I thought I'd give you an update on all of the cars. So obviously Instagram is the place to go to see all of these things, but I have some really positive news for all of them. So first off, the Alpha, which is the car that is being built by the guys at Workshop 77, my little 1971 Alpha GTV 2000. The suspension has now gone in, and it's actually starting to look a little bit more like a car as opposed to a shell. There's been a bunch more work done on it, but I'm just so excited to get this thing on the road. It's going to be a proper fast road specification classic sports car, and I really can't wait. The camper van is now also back up on the road after being broken down for about 2 months. Once again, Workshop 77 actually managed to come down to me and fix it up. It was just a small electrical gremlin which was stopping it from starting up, but we managed to get that fixed. Oil leaks are fixed and everything, and it's now being driven all the time. So I'm super happy to have that thing back on the road. The Supra locked its brakes on recently and they didn't unlock. They basically seized up. So I've had to order in new brakes, and I got big big brakes. Basically, I got a big brake kit. We also got some new coilovers for it, some new wheels, and also some new tires. So that is now going to be properly sorted when it comes to the handling side, ready for some performance upgrades later on in the year. Hopefully aiming for around about 450 to 500 horsepower from that thing. And then finally, the Defender is just going strong. We recently soundproofed it, but other than that, it's just a workhorse, and I still love that thing. So, back to the Hermitcraft server. Well, that was pretty successful. I was doing that for a little while there. We got ourselves a bunch of saplings, which is good, because that always was a problem with tree farms that I built in the past, is that you'd run out of saplings really quickly. So this is a good sign. That seems to be staying pretty well stacked up. The most important thing is of course, the amount of wood that we've got. And yes, this thing works! And it works beautifully well. So we can literally just AFK at this. We can just chill out and AFK at this thing. And we can do that overnight, and then we will have so much wood. I mean, that wasn't a particularly long session. I just remapped my right-click key to Z. I then held down the Z button while browsing Instagram on my phone. That's kind of how I did that. So it's relatively low effort, and of course I could do that overnight by just placing something on my keyboard. So that is really, really perfect, and that means that we're going to get plenty of wood and we don't have to keep buying it, because look, this will allow us to craft up a bunch of chests, a bunch of pistons, and all the stuff that doesn't need to be pretty. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Oh, I'm chuffed to bits. So after all the hard work and the many issues that we had, this thing has finally paid off and is actually working really, really well. Way better than I expected. So I really do hope that you enjoyed this episode on the Hermitcraft server. If you did, please sure to that like button. If you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later. Oh, and for the first time in ages, a new film is on the filming channel. If you want to check it out, then a link will be on the end screen.